Hello and welcome on board as we journey through the pages of another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. In today's show, we see how you can celebrate Christmas amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Later, in our HealthWise Corner, we learn to avoid the dangers of toxic substances such as pesticides. Sit back and relax with these and more interesting and informative features.
An important message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. What to do if you think you have been exposed or are experiencing signs and symptoms of COVID-19. Immediately call 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. In addition, you should stay at home. Don't go to work, school, or any public place. Do not use public transport, and avoid visitors to your home. You may need to do this for up to 14 days to reduce the spread of the infection. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Small businesses like mine continue to serve the needs of people.
We all play a part in keeping the wheels of our economy turning, and we do so responsibly.
We are building forward
together.
The festive season is once again arriving, but this year surely all of us will have to take extra special precautions due to the coronavirus pandemic. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has some important advice on how we all can still feel and share the joy of the season, but avoid the health risk posed by COVID-19. Let's see how.
Christmas activity typically we know we have the family and friends gathering to have fun but this also increases our chances of getting or spreading COVID-19. And the safest way at this time, because we're experiencing this pandemic, is to celebrate Christmas with people within our own households. So if you do plan to spend Christmas with people outside of your household, we really do need to take steps to make sure that is a safe activity. So we need to be wearing our masks at all times, except when you're going to eat or have something to drink. So even if we're coming together, we need to be wearing our masks. We need to make sure we're keeping and maintaining the physical distance of 6 feet, especially when it is that we're interacting with persons who don't live within our own households. And make sure we have the mask on while we are speaking and not removing it, like putting it underneath the chin or taking it off completely when we're talking and interacting with other persons. Making sure that we're washing our hands as well or sanitizing with our alcohol-based hand sanitizers, especially when it is that soap or soap and water are not available for us to use at that point in time. And we also need to be aware of the measures that are currently in our Disaster Risk Management Act. So adhere to all the COVID-19 protocols that have been set. For example, the curfew limits, the limits in terms of the numbers for social gatherings, etc. What activities can you safely participate in during the Christmas season? Host a virtual Christmas meal with friends and family who don't live within your household. And then you set up your TV or your laptop or your tablet and have a virtual sit-down dinner. Have people share the recipes and the dishes. So normally sometimes you have this whole potluck where it is you ask your friends and family to bring dishes over. You can still do that by sharing recipes and so on, and so we can all enjoy together the Christmas meal. When you're hosting and gathering, if it is that you choose to do so, have a small outdoor gathering. If gathering inside it's going to be inside, make sure your windows are open so you increase the ventilation. Limit the number of guests, so make sure you are aware of what it is stipulated in the Disaster Risk Management Act, which changes from time to time. Clean and disinfect high-touch surfaces and items before you use them. Make sure you limit the number of people in the food preparation area so it's not a crowded space. Have your guests bring their own food and drink. And if you're sharing food, have one person share food and use single-use options in terms of your utensils and the things that you're using to serve. In terms of making shopping safe, shop online, and when shopping in stores, stay 6 feet apart from others and make sure you're wearing your mask. And make sure you check yourself for symptoms before leaving home. So if you're ill, please stay home and don't go out shopping at this point in time. For persons who we know are more vulnerable and at high risk, shop early or ask someone to pick up items for you in the store. Use curbside pickup and delivery options if that is available and feasible for you. For our businesses, we know you expect increased pedestrian traffic. Make sure your hand sanitization station is accessible, easily accessible, especially immediately on entry to your business. Make sure you're enforcing physical distancing, not only within the business space itself, but outside. Offer online and telephone services as much as possible for as many services as possible within your business. Offer delivery services if that is an option. Have options for short interactions to be expedited. And make sure you have reminders of the infection prevention and control measures within your business so that you can remind your clients of what is expected. Celebrate the season differently in your workplace as well. So put up your Christmas decorations early to remind everyone of the season. You may have once weekly mandatory Christmas event for staff such as Zoom bingo, Zoom lunchtime caroling, grab bag. We know there are restricted and banned activities under the Disaster Risk Management Act, so no parties. We also know Christmas season for some individuals can really be very depressing, have unhappy memories linked to Christmas. There are feelings of loneliness. We want to remind you to always keep positive and see opportunities wherever they may lie. When you're at home, we say start celebrating early, and that doesn't mean in terms of throwing a big gathering or a party. We're just saying start decorating your house at this point in time so you can start to feel the Christmas spirit. Develop your safe circle of friends to keep children and adolescents engaged socially. Make sure you're calling your elderly relatives and friends. Make sure you're keeping in touch with them. Do the family Zoom calls or Skype calls, especially in trying to keep in touch with persons over long distances who don't live close to you. And engage in more family activities, especially within the household, to decrease the stress. Watch more TV together, play your games as a family, attend church online. So decrease the stress that you're putting yourselves under due to spending. So limit your spending, try not to overindulge, and manage your expectations from now. And also try to manage the expectations of your family as well in terms of what to expect that you're going to be able to do and accomplish during this time. If you have to travel for the holidays, your chances of getting and spreading COVID-19 increases. So the best way to prevent this and to make sure you're staying safe is to make sure that you stay home. If you have to travel, however, especially using public transportation, we ask one, make sure you're wearing your mask, and ask others that are in the same vehicle as you are to also wear their masks. Ensure that the windows are kept open. Try to avoid vehicles that are overcrowded. Make sure you hand sanitize as soon as possible after alighting from the vehicle. If you have to travel overseas, make sure you check travel restrictions and guidelines before you travel so you know what is expected. Just a final reminder here that if you or your family member becomes sick at any point in time, please stay home, contact your nearest health department, or call 800-1-LOVE.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor. and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
We continue to take you en route to keeping safe and protecting your health. In our next feature, we'll learn about some of the precautions we must all take to avoid serious health problems, injury, and death due to our use of toxic substances such as pesticides. Watch this.
Pest control practices using hazardous substances require us to take necessary safety precautions to protect our health. Any misguided idea as to the danger that can result from toxic pesticides must be dismissed from our minds, as we can be caught off guard by the lengthy period that might elapse before any signs of illness sets in. At the level of government, the Pesticides Control Authority (PCA) is the entity enforcing the necessary safeguards by regulating importation, manufacturing, sale, and use of pesticides.
The issue of pesticides usage poses several benefits to our society, but also can pose several challenges also, because for every positive that it represents in terms of controlling adverse conditionalities, it also, if used improperly, can lead to challenges within the environment and also affect the citizens, the persons who use or persons who are exposed.
The Pesticides Control Authority partners with local and international bodies to fulfill its regulatory functions. That includes establishing the conditions under which these substances can be safely administered.
Our website www.caribpesticides.net has a list of all registered products, and each month the board of the Pesticides Control Authority considers new
products,
and when they are approved, they are added each month to that website list. And occasionally we will remove products that were previously registered, and that's a monthly process as well. In addition, the Pesticides Review Committee goes through and looks at the more toxic ones and decides whether to recommend to the board to phase them out or not.
We have 48% of products which are used in agriculture sector, which belongs to the class 4, which is least toxic products. On opposite end, the most toxic products, we have only 1.2% remaining in the system.
The most toxic pesticides are restricted and only authorized persons are allowed to use them, having been trained and certified by the authority. The PCA also certifies private applicators of pesticides, including farmers. Persons handling and applying pesticides are required to follow all the instructions on the label and must wear the designated safety gear. At hand at all times should be protective clothing, gloves, boots, and eyeglasses. Application should be done in a manner that limits human contact.
We have seen persons being poisoned, basically, because of adverse exposure. Take, for example, rodents and the substance that is used to get rid of rodents. If it's placed in the wrong place, it does affect those who are exposed to it. And in fact, the data that I've seen show that on average about 40 persons a year are affected adversely because of the inappropriate application of that particular pest control substance.
Pesticides approved by the PCA are more easily monitored to ensure health and safety, but those that are illegally concocted and made available commercially or imported pose significant risks for unsuspecting consumers.
The problem with these, as far as the persons buying it should be concerned, is they don't really know what they are getting. So for example, we have bought a rat bait that we saw being sold that is locally manufactured illegally, and when tested in the lab there was nothing in there that could kill a rat. So the persons buying that product were only feeding the rats. The other problem we have is that there are illegal pesticides coming in through the ports, or through other avenues, I suppose. Biggest problem are the black mosquito coils.
The problem with them is that we have not got any application to have them registered, so we don't really know how much of a health risk they are. But we have got some reports that especially children and people with respiratory problems have been affected. In fact, they are probably just too good. So they affect not only the mosquitoes and the flies, but the humans as well. Some of them contain active ingredients that we know that are a real problem, and even if an application came in to register them, we would not want to do so. Then there's some other things such as this chalk, which a child would think is a regular piece of chalk that they see at their school. Then there are some things that are in plastic bottles. These are very common. Again, the wristbands, that's not a registered product.
Persons are also placed at high risk when products are removed from their original manufacturer's container and repackaged inappropriately.
And again, how does a person buying something like that know that what they are getting is the real thing?
Even within the household, it's a dangerous practice to transfer pesticides to things like soda bottles or plastic bags for storage.
Unfortunately, children in the home can get a hold of it. And children end up in hospital all the time because of that problem, particularly eating rat bait.
It has to be locked away and properly labeled. We also recommend to the farmers use very simple, inexpensive methods of storage. You don't need to be very, elaborate or fancy. You can use just maybe old shelf of refrigerator or old filing cabinet, or just simply wooden box.
For its part, the Pesticides Control Authority regularly collects samples of local and imported agricultural foods to test for residual pesticide levels. Farmers are encouraged to do their own due diligence by first determining the percentage of pesticide to use and following the label instruction for things such as dilution rates and the correct time to spray. The PCA provides simplified information to help in this process.
We have done a mini survey to determine what possible practices the farmers are doing that could be causing the problem, and then we are going to be training them specifically in those.
Farmers can also minimize the use of pesticides by practicing biological and cultural control methods, such as barrier crops, sticky traps, and crop rotation. Whether for commercial use, on the farm, or in the home, make pesticide use a last resort. Or, failing that, make it a priority to handle pesticides safely, because the life saved could just be your own. For more information, you can visit the Pesticides Control Authority website at caribpesticides.net. You can also email pca@cwjamaica.com.
An important message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. How to wash your hands. Firstly, wet your hands. Then apply some soap. Rub your hands palm to palm. Lather the backs of your hands. Scrub between your fingers. Rub the backs of fingers on the opposing palms. Then clean your thumbs. Make sure to wash your fingernails and fingertips. Rinse your hands. Then dry with a single-use towel. Use this towel to turn off the faucet. And now your hands are clean. When to wash your hands? After coughing or sneezing, after taking public transportation, when caring for the sick, before, during, and after you prepare and eat food, after toilet use, when hands are visibly dirty, after handling animals or animal waste. An important message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
We're now taking a road trip. On this next leg of our journey on Jamaica Magazine, the Ministry of Transport and Works road safety expert Knut Hare takes us through the rules governing safety on our roads. Let's go.
It could be the cause of a traffic holdup, disturbing the smooth movement of vehicles. It could be the cause of your arrest or punishment, where, depending on the degree of your offense, you're likely to be fined or jailed. It could be the cause of your physical injury or that passerby having one less leg to depend on. Or it could be the cause of your life or someone else's. If you're realizing the grisly pattern here, then now would be the time to practice road safety. Road safety implies that measures are in place to limit or prevent road crashes or injuries to users of these thoroughfares. Road users include motorists, vehicle passengers, motorcyclists, and pedestrians. Measures for their safety include things like road signs, road codes, or even physical infrastructure.
On the traffic network, we have various road signs. So we have mandatory signs, and we have warning signs, and we have informational signs. So the warning signs are basically those signs that tell you that there is some impediment ahead, there is some issues ahead. So you'll see those are normally in the yellow and the black. So they will tell you that there's a traffic light ahead, there's an intersection ahead, there is a corner ahead, and there are other physical features ahead, or bridge, etc. We have the mandatory sign. These are signs that must be obeyed. If you disobey them, just know that you will be issued a traffic ticket. Those signs are normally red. They normally have a red in them. So keep your money in your pocket by obeying those red signs. So they are normally red and white or red, white and black. So that's the common feature of those. Then you will see the signs that are informational. Some of them are blue, some are green. Those just tell you where you must go, how many kilometers away you are from a particular township or location.
Now, after you've had a careful look at road signs as you go along, knowing and understanding the road codes becomes just as important. For us, we've seen people disobey some of those rules more than others.
One of the critical road rules that we must understand is that you see the speeding thing that we love, we need to cut it out. The faster you are going, and if you are involved in a collision, the speed at which the vehicle is going, that's the speed your internal organs are going. That's scientific laws, kinetic energy. The other one, serious risk factor, is the whole matter of not wearing helmet and wearing seatbelt. We have had too many drivers and passengers of motor vehicles parachuting out of motor vehicles. Another risk factor that's out there is the whole matter of cell phone usage. Those things can be distracting, right? So we need also to minimize that as best as possible.
Physical infrastructures have also been implemented to ensure a safer passage on our roadways. Observing all these measures becomes necessary because of the severe impact that disregarding them can and have had on our nation's people.
The numbers are always alarming because for a little country like us, and we've gone 178 days, that's pathetic. But last year this time it was 218. Now it's 178, 40 less. These crashes tend to occur on the road surfaces that are nicely laid. That is not to say that they don't occur on the bad roads, the road infested with potholes and bad. I'm not saying that. There are few occur on there, but majority of these fatal crashes are occurring on the nicely laid road sections. And when we look at what contributes to the crashes, we are seeing the human behavior being perpetuated. And we are losing a lot of our young people because of this situation. Must wear our seatbelt, wear our helmet. We have seen over 178 people dead already. Many were not wearing their protective gear. We know that. So we need to reduce those risk factors. We have been giving away our lives on the road, giving it away. 54 motorcyclists dead, all males, many of whom have their family members who they are living for. COVID-19 has caused us to recognize the importance of following rules and regulations in order to try to keep ourselves safe. Because of COVID-19, the spiral of crashes that we were expecting to occur at night, it has reduced dramatically. But what we have seen is that there is still cause for concern because in the day, COVID-19 has not caused drivers to be more careful as they drive on the road. Let us use that same impetus and spirit of wanting to live through Corona to wanting to live as we drive on the road and not put ourselves at risk and not put other people at risk. Let us try to be each other's keeper in this season.
So, while on the road, let's help to protect her life, his life, their lives, and our lives.
Informing.
Jamaica today confirmed its first imported case of coronavirus.
Educating.
If you follow the recommended procedures, it is highly likely that you will not get the disease.
Going beyond to keep you informed and connected.
Welcome to Get the Fact.
Even through the pandemic. Helping you stay safe while we protect ourselves. Dependable. Impactful. Accurate.
This is your JIS News.
Credible. Trustworthy. Every day, everywhere. Serving our customers proudly.
Householders, business people, school administrators, be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET.
By order, under the Disaster Risk Management Act, you must wear a mask in all public access places and in public transportation. If you wear a mask and I wear a mask, we are all safer.
This is where we leave you for today on Jamaica Magazine. Be sure to join us again tomorrow for another show. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website, gis.gov.jm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson reminding you that COVID's still a keep, plus the flu. So practice your infection prevention and control measures and stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.